As the author of the YouTube channel God's Wake Up Call, I'm speaking to you right now because the stakes have never been higher. There is a reason you are watching this at this exact moment. Because the divine timing for your relationship with this person is now. Not next month, not next year, not someday. The window is open, and if you miss it, the consequences will echo for years. Stop the scroll. Let me ask you a question that will stop you in your tracks. Why is your relationship with this person, yes, the one on your heart right now, stuck in limbo? Why do you feel the tension, the delay, the sense that something is holding you back from breakthrough? Define the problem. I'll tell you why. Because the enemy, the dark spiritual force that thrives on delay and doubt, wants nothing more than to keep you in a holding pattern. Every day you hesitate. Every moment you second guess. You are giving ground to the very force that wants to sabotage your destiny. Delay is not neutral. Doubt is not harmless. They are the enemy's favorite weapons, and right now, they are working overtime in your life. Announce the divine decree. But I am here to declare with prophetic authority that the waiting period is over. The divine timing is now. Heaven's clock has struck the appointed hour. The blueprint for your relationship is being released, and you are being called to step into it. No more excuses, no more waiting. No more wondering if you're ready. Promise the blueprint. In the next few minutes, I will reveal the exact, non-negotiable, 4-part God's blueprint for your relationship. This is not theory. This is not wishful thinking. This is the urgent, divinely mandated path you must walk if you want to see breakthrough, restoration, and destiny fulfilled. Are you ready? Because the time to act is now. Let's begin with the first part of God's blueprint, the divine recalibration. You need to understand, delay was never God's punishment. The waiting, the confusion, the sense of being stuck was a necessary period of internal purification and alignment. God has been chiseling your soul, preparing you for a relationship that is not built on fantasy, but on truth and spiritual maturity. Think back over the last season. Have you noticed how certain patterns kept repeating? How old wounds resurfaced? How you were forced to confront your deepest fears and insecurities? That was not random. That was the divine chisel at work. There are 3 specific purification tests you have already passed, or are passing right now. 1, the test of surrender. You were brought to a place where you had to let go of control. Maybe you tried to force the relationship, to manipulate outcomes, to make things happen in your own strength. But God blocked every shortcut. He required you to lay it down, to surrender your timeline, your expectations, and your pride. Only then could He begin the real work in your heart. 2, the test of reflection. In the silence, you were forced to look inward. You saw the places where you were still carrying old pain, where you were projecting past disappointments onto this new relationship. God used the waiting to bring those wounds to the surface, not to shame you, but to heal you. You learned to pray, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." And He did. 3, the test of faithfulness. Even when nothing seemed to be changing, you kept showing up. You kept praying, kept believing, kept loving, even when it felt pointless. This was the test of faithfulness in the unseen. God was watching, and He was pleased. Because faithfulness in the waiting is the foundation for breakthrough in the now. If you recognize these tests, know this: you have not been forgotten. You have been recalibrated. The delay was the preparation for the divine timing that is now upon you. Now, let's move to the second part of God's blueprint, the anchor of covenant. This relationship is not a coincidence. It is not a random encounter or a fleeting connection. It is a sacred assignment, a covenant that was written in the mind of God before you ever met this person. There is a difference between soulmates and covenant partners. Soulmates are beautiful, but they are often casual, circumstantial, or even temporary. Covenant partners are non-negotiable. They are divinely matched, assigned to you for a purpose that is bigger than romance, bigger than comfort, bigger than you. A covenant partner is someone with whom your destiny is intertwined. You are called to build, to heal, to serve, and to glorify God together. The enemy fights these relationships the hardest because He knows what is at stake. Ask yourself, do you feel a sense of holy gravity with this person? A weight that goes beyond attraction or compatibility? Have you tried to walk away, only to find that God keeps bringing you back to them in prayer, in dreams, in moments of unexpected clarity? Do you sense that your calling, your growth, your very future is somehow linked to theirs? If so, you are not dealing with a casual connection. You are standing at the threshold of a covenant assignment. This is why the delay was so intense. The enemy does not waste resources on relationships that don't matter. The warfare, the confusion, the obstacles, they are all evidence that this is a relationship worth fighting for. But now, the divine timing is here. The anchor of covenant is being released. You are being called to recognize, honor, and step into this sacred partnership with the seriousness it deserves. Now that you understand the recalibration and the covenant, it's time for action. The third part of God's blueprint is the immediate intervention, the don't wait mandate. This is not a season for passivity or hesitation. The divine timing is now, and you are being called to move. There are 3 concrete, divinely inspired actions you must take this week regarding this person. These are not just suggestions, they are mandates for breakthrough. Shed the chains of past grudges. You cannot step into a new season carrying the weight of old offenses. If there is any bitterness, resentment, or unresolved pain between you and this person, it must be released. This may mean having a difficult conversation, writing a letter you never send, or simply choosing in your heart to forgive. The enemy thrives in the soil of unforgiveness. Break the chains now and watch as the atmosphere shifts. Speak the unsaid truth. There is something you have been holding back, words left unspoken, feelings unexpressed, truths buried beneath fear. This is the week to speak. Whether it's an apology, an admission of love, or a confession of your own struggles, the time for silence is over. God cannot bless what you pretend not to feel. Bring the truth into the light and let healing begin. Forgive the unforgivable sin. Maybe there is a wound so deep, a betrayal so painful, that you have convinced yourself it can never be forgiven. But God's grace is bigger than your pain. Forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong. It's about setting yourself free. This week, ask God for the strength to forgive what feels unforgivable. Release it to Him, and trust that He will bring justice, healing, and restoration in His way and His time. Each of these actions requires courage, vulnerability, and faith. But remember, delay is the enemy's weapon. Every day you wait, the window narrows. The divine timing is now. Do not let fear rob you of your breakthrough. The final part of God's blueprint is the armor of confirmation. How do you know you are moving in the right direction? How can you discern the final, undeniable sign from God that you are aligned with His will? There are 3 divine confirmations that are always subtle, never loud. They are the armor that protects you from doubt and fear as you step forward. 1. A sudden peace that defies logic. After you take the step God is asking of you, you will experience a peace that makes no sense in the natural. The situation may still be unresolved, the outcome uncertain, but your spirit will be calm. This is the peace that passes all understanding, a divine confirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. 2. Synchronicity in everyday objects. God speaks through signs, patterns, and coincidences that are too perfect to ignore. You may see repeated numbers, hear a song at just the right moment, or receive a message that answers your prayer in an unexpected way. These synchronicities are not random. They are God's way of saying, I am with you. Keep going. 3. A door opens that no one can shut. When you are aligned with God's timing, obstacles that once seemed insurmountable suddenly move. A conversation that was impossible becomes possible. An opportunity appears out of nowhere. The right people show up at the right time. This is the final confirmation, the undeniable evidence that heaven is backing your obedience. Faith is the only currency you need. You do not have to see the whole path. You do not have to have all the answers. You simply need to trust that God's blueprint is unfolding, and that every step of obedience is met with divine confirmation. Let's bring all 4 parts of God's blueprint together. You've heard the urgent call. You've seen the spiritual architecture behind your relationship. And you've been given the exact steps to activate the divine timing. Now, the moment of decision is here. This is not just another message. This is a divine summons. The window is open, but it will not stay open forever. Synthesis. Remember the journey. First, you endured the divine recalibration. You were purified, tested, and prepared, not to punish you, but to make you ready for a relationship that is holy, not hollow. Second, you discovered the anchor of covenant. This is not a casual connection, but a sacred assignment. You are being called to a partnership that is written in heaven, a covenant that the enemy fears. Third, you received the immediate intervention, the don't wait mandate. You know what you must do. Shed the chains of past grudges, speak the unsaid truth, and forgive the unforgivable sin. Fourth, you were given the armor of confirmation. You know the signs, the peace that defies logic, the synchronicities that cannot be denied, and the doors that open by God's hand alone. The consequence. But now, you must choose. The cost of inaction is real. If you ignore this call, if you let fear or doubt keep you paralyzed, the enemy will continue to sow confusion, delay, and regret. The divine timing is not a theory, it is a window. And windows close. If you wait too long, you risk missing the breakthrough, the restoration, the destiny that God has prepared for you in this person. Delay is not neutral. It is a decision. And every day you hesitate, you are choosing to let the enemy write the next chapter of your story instead of God. So here is the final call. If you are ready to step into God's blueprint, if you are ready to see the waiting end and the breakthrough begin, declare it now. Type in the comments, "It is done," or "I accept the blueprint." Let this be your act of faith, your public declaration that you are done with delay, done with doubt, and ready to move in divine timing. Pray this with me. God, I receive your blueprint for my relationship. I surrender my timeline, my fears, and my pride. I choose to forgive, to speak truth, and to act in faith. I ask for your confirmation, your peace, and your guidance. Let your will be done, and let your timing be now. In Jesus' name, Amen. Now, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Don't keep the breakthrough to yourself. The divine timing is now, and the world needs more people who are willing to move when God says move. This is your moment. The waiting is over. The blueprint is revealed. The only question left is, will you act, or will you let the window close? The choice is yours. Move now. Heaven is watching.